Day News. I am Chirutu. We begin with the headlines. Nigeria pushes global debt relief at UNGA 2025. EU launches £13 million social project support to support Nigeria's most vulnerable. Telecom stakeholders call for collaboration to unlock Nigeria's MVNO market potential. Partners with Japan to train 100 power sector workers by South African fintech entrepreneur lead digital payment revolution with IKHOKHA. World Bank to host high-level African TVET policy forum to tackle employment crisis. Away from Africa, Australia leads with world first social media ban for teens under 16. In health, Nigerian pharmacists urge government to recognize community pharmacies as primary health care centers. New affordable HIV prevention drugs set to transform access in over 100 low-income countries. And in business, scrutiny mounts over NNPCL deductions, revenue shortfalls. And in sports, Nigeria reaffirms bid to host 2030 Commonwealth Games. Now the news info. Nigeria has called for urgent reforms in the global financial system to address the debt crisis facing developing economies. Speaking at the 80th United Nations General Assembly in New York, Vice President Kashim Shettima, on behalf of President Bola Tinubu, urged world leaders to adopt mechanisms that will ease sovereign debt burdens, improve access to trade and financing, and create fair opportunities for growth. He proposed the creation of an international financial court to manage sovereign debt and stressed that debt relief could be seen not as charity but as part of global peace and prosperity. President Tinubu also pressed for wider reforms of the UN system, including granting Nigeria a permanent seat on the Security Council to ensure fairer representation. He outlined 4 key imperatives: debt relief, improved access to global trade and financing, fair benefit for mineral-rich countries, and closing the digital divide to ensure Africa is not left behind in the technological advancement. Let's hear him.
To deliver a world of peace and development, where the respect for human rights is paramount. We must recalibrate the delicate balance between our roles as sovereign governments and our duties as collective partners to renew multilateralism in a world that has evolved far beyond what it was in 1945. The pace of change across borders is a force without pause. It manifests in the tools of technology.
Highlighting Africa's progress on Nigeria's economic reforms, Tinubu urged investment in value-added industries, infrastructure, and digital inclusion to strengthen resilience and unlock opportunities. He also called for global cooperation to address conflict, terrorism, and extremism, noting that ideological victories, not just military ones, ensure lasting peace. Stressing that Africa's vast natural resources must benefit its people, Tinubu insisted that reforms in trade, finance, and governance are crucial to building a fairer and more stable world. Moving on, the EU, in partnership with the International Labour Organization, ILO, and UNICEF, has launched a Supporting Sustainable Social Protection System in Nigeria project in Abia State, aiming to strengthen Nigeria's social safety net. The head of the EU delegation to Nigerian ECOWAS, Mr. Gautier Mignot, announced the launch during a formal event in Umuahia, describing it as a transformative initiative to expand support for vulnerable populations across the country. The £13 million project will run from 2024 to 2027, targeting 4 states, including Abia, in collaboration with the federal government. Mr. Mignot stated that the project aligns with the EU's broader goals in health, education, gender equality, and economic development, and is designed to ensure no one is left behind. Commending the Abia State government and Governor Dr. Alex Uti, Mignot emphasized that this collaboration is helping build a stronger, more resilient Nigeria. Governor Uti, who inaugurated the State Social Protection Council, welcomed the EU's continued investment, noting that it would build on existing social protection gains achieved over the past 28 months. He pledged the state full support to ensure the initiative's success. Representatives from ILO and UNICEF reiterated their commitment to implementing the project and reaching the most vulnerable segments of society, including children, the elderly, and the poor. ILO Country Director Dr. Vanessa Leratu Falamoyo and UNICEF Chief of Field Services Judy Leverly praised Abia's leadership and highlighted the initiative as a springboard out of poverty. Leverly called the project not just a social program but a promise of change, adding that with stronger partnerships, Nigeria could serve as a model for social protection in Africa. Senior state officials, commissioners, and development partners were all present at the launch. Moving ahead, stakeholders in Nigeria's telecommunications sector have issued a unified call for strategic collaboration, patient capital, and market adaptation to unlock the untapped potential of mobile virtual network operators, MVNOs. The resolution followed robust discussions at the 6th edition of the Telecom Sector Sustainability Forum, TSSF, held in IKHOKHA, Lagos, and organized by Business Remarks. Industry leaders, including mobile network operators, MNOs, the Nigerian Communications Commission, NCC, and licensed MVNOs gathered under the theme Unlocking Nigeria's MVNO Potential, Status, Strength, Investment, and Future Prospects. In a keynote address, Dr. Aminu Maida, Executive Vice Chairman of the NCC, highlighted the MVNO model as a catalyst for niche services and enhanced competition in Nigeria's digital space. Represented by Osman Maman, Director of Licensing and Authorization, Maida revealed that 46 MVNO licenses were issued in 2023, joining a global count of over 1,000 operators, with Europe alone hosting more than 500. While acknowledging current hurdles, particularly around commercial negotiations, the NCC pledged to work with MNOs to boost network capacity and ensure a viable operational environment for MVNOs. Industry experts emphasize that Nigeria's MVNOs must adopt locally driven strategies rather than replicate foreign models. ATCON President Tony Izuagbe Ekpokere advised new entrants to focus on market-specific offerings and service differentiation. Dr. Tola Yusuf of Infratel Africa stressed the need for targeted rural strategies, even if it means overcoming tough logistical challenges. IPNX Director Mr. Lushola Teniola also noted the critical infrastructure gap, pointing out that Nigeria's 40,000 telecom towers are inadequate for a population exceeding 200 million, especially when compared to the UK 75,000 towers for a much smaller population. In another news, the National Power Training Institute of Nigeria, NAPTIN, has launched a new capacity-building initiative aimed at training at least 100 personnel from the nation's power distribution sector by the end of 2025. The program, developed in collaboration with the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, comes as part of efforts to address technical inefficiencies and reduce distribution losses that have long plagued Nigeria's electricity sector. As part of the project, NAPTIN has commissioned new advanced training equipment to strengthen the skills of personnel across Nigeria's 11 electricity distribution companies' DISCOs. The training will be delivered quarterly through 3 newly developed courses aligned with global best practices, focusing on improving reliability, power quality, and minimizing power losses in the distribution network. The initiative aligns with Nigeria's broader objective of ensuring accessible, affordable, and reliable electricity for all citizens. NAPTIN's Director General Ahmed Nagode commended JICA and the Japanese government for their continued partnership and support. He noted that the capacity building program is part of a larger institutional vision, which includes the construction of a state-of-the-art training complex with hostels, laboratories, and simulators. The facility, once completed, is expected to position NAPTIN as a leading power sector training center in sub-Saharan Africa. Moving ahead, A significant transformation is underway in Africa's digital payment landscape, driven by innovations that make financial services more accessible to small businesses. One example is IKHOKHA, a South African fintech company founded in 2012, which has developed affordable electronic payment systems aimed at empowering underserved merchants. IKHOKHA provides mobile point-of-sale devices certified by major card networks, enabling transactions via card, e-wallet, and QR codes. Its mobile app supports a wide range of business needs, including register management, invoicing, e-commerce, and microfinancing, and offers a cash advance product designed to support small businesses often excluded from traditional credit systems. In August 2025, IKHOKHA was acquired by Nedbank for approximately $94 million. The acquisition marks a milestone in the growth of South Africa's fintech sector, while the retention of the company's independent management structure ensures continued innovation and agility. With Nedbank's backing, IKHOKHA is now positioned to expand its impact across the continent. The evolution of IKHOKHA reflects a broader trend in African entrepreneurship, where digital solutions are being used to bridge financial gaps, promote inclusion, and build more resilient local economies. Let's now go on a short break. The news continues when we return.
Sustainable technology. Sustainable technology focuses on reducing the environmental impact of industries by leveraging green energy, recycling, and waste management innovations. From solar panels to green manufacturing processes, the focus is on sustainability as regulations tighten globally. But scalability remains a concern. Green technologies often require large initial investments, and the global infrastructure isn't always equipped to handle the shift away from fossil fuels. The sustainable tech market is projected to grow from $36.6 billion by 2027, with industries like transportation, energy, and manufacturing leading the way.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is still IDEA TV Midday News. Now the rest of the news. The World Bank, in collaboration with the Kenyan government and Inter-University Council for East Africa, will host the Africa Skills for Jobs Policy Academy from September 30th to October 3rd in Nairobi. The 4-day event will bring together over 250 participants from more than 20 African countries, including senior policymakers, private sector leaders, and development experts. The forum aims to address urgent reforms needed in technical and vocational education and training TVET systems to close Africa's widening skills gap. The Academy will focus on practical solutions to align training programs with real market needs, with special attention on industry partnerships, sustainable financing, and on-the-job training. High-growth sectors such as agribusiness, digital technology, energy, and health will take center stage, along with inclusive approaches that ensure women and informal workers are not left behind. According to the World Bank, over 1 million young people enter the African labor market each month, while 86% of available jobs remain in the informal sector, a challenge made worse by ongoing skills mismatches. Experts believe that well-designed TVET programs can significantly improve youth employability and economic growth. Countries like Senegal and South Africa are already investing in TVET modernization, supported by the World Bank. In July 2025, the bank strengthened its requirement for skills development in funded projects, underscoring its commitment to building a more inclusive workforce. Gaspard Bayankimbona, Executive Secretary of the Inter-University Council for East Africa, said Africa's youth need hands-on and quality technical and vocational education to thrive in rapidly changing labor markets. And away from Africa now, Australia has become the first country in the world to ban children under 16 from using social media, with a new law set to take effect in December. Prime Minister Anthony Albanese defended the policy at the Protecting Children in the Digital Age event during the UN General Assembly in New York, calling it a long overdue step to safeguard children's mental health. The law raises the minimum age for creating social media accounts from 13 to 16, aiming to reduce exposure to bullying, misinformation, and harmful online content. Instead of demanding intrusive ID checks, Australia plans to use artificial intelligence and behavioral data to estimate users' ages. Albanese acknowledged the system is not perfect but stressed that it would allow teens 3 more years of being shaped by real-life experiences and not algorithms. The approach has drawn praise globally, with European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen saying Europe is watching closely and could follow Australia's lead. The ban was passed into law in late 2024 after growing concerns about the mental health impact of social media on young teenagers. Supporters say it will help protect vulnerable users, though critics question how effective or enforceable the policy will be. Still, the initiative has sparked worldwide debate about how government can balance digital freedom with child protection in the age of social media. Moving on. And now in health, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria, ACPN, have called on the federal government to officially designate community pharmacies as primary healthcare centers, citing their growing role in improving healthcare access across the country. The appeal was made by ACPN National Chairman Ambrose Eze during a press briefing in Abuja to mark the 2025 World Pharmacists Day themed Think Health, Think Pharmacist. Eze emphasized that community pharmacists are often the first point of contact for patients, providing services such as medication, counseling, chronic disease management, vaccination support, and public health advocacy. He noted the accessibility and free consultations make them key to expanding frontline healthcare, particularly in underserved communities. The ACPN also launched a new initiative titled Pharmacy Forward, Performance Collaboration and Health Transformation, aimed at standardizing career progression and professional development within the sector. As part of the initiative, a 5-tier career advancement scheme was introduced to encourage talent retention and improve patient care. These include ranks from community pharmacist to community pharmacist consultant, as they urge pharmacists across Nigeria to use World Pharmacists Day as an opportunity to highlight their contributions to national health systems and advocate for policy reforms that fully integrate pharmacists into the country's primary health care strategy. Still in health, lenacapavir, a groundbreaking HIV prevention drug, will be available at a drastically reduced cost in more than 120 low and middle-income countries, promising to improve access for millions and accelerate efforts to end HIV/AIDS epidemic. While the drug currently costs around $28,000 per person annually, the new generic version is set to be offered for just $40 starting in 2027. Lenacapavir, administered via injection twice a year, blocks the virus from replicating inside cells, providing 6 months of protection at a time. The agreement to reduce the drug's price was announced on Wednesday by the Clinton Health Access Initiative in partnership with the Gates Foundation and South Africa's WITS RHR Research Institute. Experts highlight that the drug's long-acting injectable format offers a critical advantage over the current daily oral prevention drug PrEP by improving adherence and reducing stigma for vulnerable groups such as young women, LGBT communities, and sex workers. The World Health Organization endorsed lenacapavir in July following clinical trials that showed promising results, including a 100% success rate in one study. With more than 40 million people living with HIV worldwide, including nearly 8 million in South Africa, the rollout of this affordable drug marks a pivotal moment in global health. South Africa's health department expressed strong support for making the drug accessible at affordable rates, with experts cautioning that, however, the real challenge will be building demand, securing commitment, and preparing healthcare systems to rapidly scale up access. If just 4% of the population receive the injection, new HIV infections could be reduced by up to 20%, according to experts. In business, Nigeria's revenue plan is facing strain as the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, has failed to remit its budgeted interim dividends, leaving a gap of over 2.1 trillion year to date. Concerns have been raised over the company's 30% deductions for management fees and another 30% for frontier oil exploration under the Petroleum Industry Act, PIA. A special subcommittee has pressed NNPCL to provide detailed financial records, while President Bola Tinubu has ordered a review of deductions by major revenue agencies to free up funds for public use. The controversy deepened after revelation that NNPCL received 318 billion naira for frontier exploration in just 8 months without contributing dividends to the Federation account. Oil experts argue the deductions are excessive and poorly applied, recommending the be cut to no more than 10%. Others, however, caution against rushing into amending the PIA, which took nearly 2 decades to negotiate before becoming law. Meanwhile, oil workers' unions have strongly opposed government moves to amend the act or divest stakes in NNPCL's joint venture assets, warning that it could destabilize the oil sector and threaten workers' welfare. The debater discussed a widening clash between the government's drive for more revenue, industry realities, and the need to protect jobs and investment in Nigeria's energy sector. And finally, in sport, President Bola Tinubu has once again reiterated Nigeria's readiness to host the 2030 Commonwealth Games, declaring that it is time for Africa to take center stage in the history of the Games. The Nigerian government has submitted Abuja as a preferred host city as the country competes with India, which has proposed Ahmedabad. The 2030 Games will mark 100 years since the first Commonwealth Games held in Hamilton, Canada in 1930. In a heartfelt message shared via his social media platform, President Tinubu described Nigeria as a gateway to Africa and urged the Commonwealth Games Federation to recognize the continent's central role in the future of the Games. He said, "Let us complete the circle of Commonwealth unity. The dream must be realized. The time is now." Yesterday, a high-level Nigerian delegation delivered an advanced presentation in London to bolster its bid, focusing on themes such as youth empowerment, arts, cultural exchange, and building a shared legacy within the Commonwealth family. Meanwhile, the Commonwealth Sport Bid Evaluation Committee visited Abuja last week to inspect proposed venues and facilities. The team was formally received at the Aso Rock Villa by President Tinubu's Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajabiamila, on behalf of the President, led by Shehu Diko, Chairman of the National Sports Commission, and Bukola Olukpade, Director General of the bid team. The delegation emphasized that hosting the Games would provide an unprecedented opportunity to showcase Africa's talent, infrastructure, and cultural heritage and make history as the first African to host the Commonwealth Games. That's the much we can take for you on Idea TV Midday News, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Nigeria pushes global debt relief and UN reforms at UNGA 2025. EU launches £13 million social protection project to support Nigeria's most vulnerable. Telecom stakeholders call for collaboration to unlock Nigeria's MVNO market potential. NAPTIN partners with Japan to train 100 power sector workers by end of 2025. South African fintech entrepreneur leads digital payment revolution with IKHOKHA. World Bank to host high-level Africa TVET policy forum to tackle the employment crisis. Away from Africa, Australia leads with world first social media ban for teens under 16. And in health, Nigerian pharmacists urge government to recognize community pharmacies as primary healthcare centers. Still in health, new affordable HIV prevention drugs set to transform access in over 100 low-income countries. And in business, scrutiny mounts over NNPCL deductions, revenue shortfalls. In sports, Nigeria reaffirms bid to host 2030 Commonwealth Games. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea TV. I am Chinatu Oji. Enjoy the rest of your day.